Hello and welcome to the NGO Whisperer Show in partnership with Behemoth. This is a show that celebrates men and women from around the world who are impacting people's lives. My name is Carolyne A.Opinde and I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer. We are a consulting business that helps nonprofits raise funds so they can successfully impact people's lives. Today, we are joined by Jerry Farsoun, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Caroline. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry is a philanthropist and the inventor of Leelou. Leelou is a personal safety app that you can have on your phone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android kind of phone. Jerry, how did this all journey begin for you? How did you come about with this idea of developing Leelou?
Caroline, the idea came in 2008 whilst I was flying around Australia solo and unassisted in my ultralight powered parachute to reduce the stigma and raise awareness of depression with an emphasis on suicide after my attempt at suicide in March 2007. So the following year, I was flying around Australia to help bring about education and awareness to the cause. And whilst I was flying around Australia, I thought to myself, it would be good if there was technology that when a person who felt suicidal, such as myself, feeling like a burden, they could press a button and their closest network would reach out to them. But of course, the year that I conceived the idea, that was the year that apps became a new thing in that year. And it was incredibly expensive to develop the technology. So it took me many, many years before I started to develop the technology. In fact, I started in July 2015. And in that 7 years of learning, I realized that this technology should not be reserved just for those that were struggling mentally or emotionally, and that anybody who was challenged physically, mentally, or emotionally could use the platform to get personal safety, be it emotional or mental. So that's how it started, and it's branched into this huge platform that's covering all areas of personal safety.
So right now with Leelou, and you and I have spoken about this before, is Leelou is available in a number of countries, not all the countries all over the world, but the plan is for you to now take it to other countries. Share with us, where Leelou is available, how many countries it is, and the plans that are there for you to bring it to other countries, including South Africa, where I am today.
Sure. Well, first of all, there are 3 different kinds of apps in the marketplace. There are apps that are free to download and free to use, and they're not financially sustainable. They tend to just drop away because they can't afford to maintain the servers or maintain the upkeep every year when the app stores update or the platforms update. So they tend not to last long. The other 2 are you pay to use it, the download, and they're free to use, so they can monetize it. Or the other one is it's free to download and then you pay for premium services. So what I've tried to do is maintain that you can download the app for free and use it for free. To do that, it's taken 4 years and cost $1.2 million. But the one thing that I can't avoid is the cost of the server. So I have to slowly release the app out into certain countries that I can control the growth. Otherwise, the onboarding of the platform could literally, the financial cost of the server can cripple the organization. So at the moment, Leelou is available in Australia, New Zealand, USA, Canada, UK, the Middle East, and it's free in all of those countries. Free to download and free to use. The core is free, and we'll never ever charge for that. And that is the legacy that I didn't want to leave behind, but I wanted to be involved in that legacy where, people that I love could be protected. So we are hoping to expand into other demographics. Sadly, South Africa is a major focus for us, but the cost to expand into South Africa to support the community, the server cost is quite high. So we need to monetize ourselves in other countries so we can afford to keep the server for free in South Africa.
South Africa is really one of the countries that needs this because according to a recent statistics by the United Nations, there are over 1,300 women in South Africa who are killed by their intimate partners or someone who's very close to them. And the incidences of rape and sexual violence and any other violence really is very high. South Africa is actually 5 times more violent than any other country in the world. And so we really need this hub, up in South Africa. My question is, what does it take for this app to be installed and be available for people to use in countries such as South Africa and any other African countries?
So in order to keep the app for free, we had to minimize the costs to operate it. So the platform's built, and the only cost required to download the app is to download it using your data and to SMS our server. Now, if we were to pay for that SMS, it would cost us a lot of money. So we've amortized that cost. So we need to build an SMS gateway in South Africa, so local residents to South Africa can SMS our server to create the account. There's 2 reasons why we do that. One, to help reduce our costs, but more importantly, that no one can steal your account because your account's locked to your phone. I can't use my phone number or my phone to try and access your account, because when I go to register, I have to SMS the server with my number, and the server knows my number's not yours. So you can't copy the account, so it gives you a level of privacy. Once we've established that, then we need to just run the service so people can use the service. So our only ongoing cost is the server costs, and we just don't know how much that'll cost, because the population of Australia is 25 million. The population of South Africa is 40 million. So depending on how much it gets used, it will determine how much it costs. It's like the more phone calls you make, the more it costs. So we don't know how to gauge whether it'll be an expensive cost or not. But we hope to be there very, very soon. Once we have a data center to host our SMS gateway, and then, of course, to get an SMS gateway built and installed over there.
So from what I hear from you is we need to have support for Leelou company to have a server that will be able to communicate with your servers in Australia, here in South Africa. And what kind of partners are you looking at to be able to help you set this up? Is this something to do with telecommunication companies to help you set up that server here in South Africa and to literally have a physical one here? Or does it have to be, transmitted to Australia?
So we use Amazon services, Amazon cloud services, and they're elastics. They expand to anywhere in the world, and especially regions. But what we do need to do is replicate that server in a region close to South Africa. So what we really need is people of a philanthropic nature who may be touched by domestic violence or, child trafficking and abduction, that wants to help prevent that, because that's ultimately, and like I said to you, we started, the app was built off my own personal experience, which is now not limited to that, but it's about personal safety. And the main thing is women and children. So we are trying to prevent. The platform will work to prevent or reduce those numbers, not aftercare, but intervention and deterrence, rather than supportive services. Because where we are, there are no intervention services available, because in the moment it's very hard to reach out, because most crime happens behind closed doors. So if we had an organisation that was prepared to help fund the operation, the replication server in the South African region, or even establish the SMS gateway with UPS to keep the SMS gateway up and running 24/7. That'd be great. Organisations that would either house the service or help with the infrastructure or fund the ongoing operation, that'd be a great alliance to have. Bearing in mind there is no profit in the platform, because the platform is free. So we're looking for organisations that don't want to establish a really cool corporate social responsibility profile and brand, but organisations or individuals who actually want to make a difference, and rather than using it to brand themselves about how wonderful we are, or they are, but to do something good for the community. And that's essentially what Leelou is all about, and that's to create that legacy. So anyone that wants to partner with us, housing our gateway, SMS gateway, to help fund the server, replication server, happy to talk to anyone, even to share among their network groups to push the app out to the demographics and their environments. That'd be fantastic.
Wonderful, wonderful. Because I believe that as we come together, because that's what we are all about. We are all about coming together and connecting people. And Behenet, that is really the core of it, stability of the family. And the family as a unit, when it's stable, the community becomes stable and people feel safe. So if people feel safe in the family setting, in every family within the community, people are feeling safe. Whether it's the children, whether it's women, whether it's young boys and girls, or even the men themselves, as we've seen in South Africa with incidences of violence. Violence has no, as we always say, violence has no respect of socioeconomic status or gender, because it could happen to anyone. So another thing that I wanted just to emphasize is this is an app that is free, but one needs to have units on their phone for SMS. How does that work? You mentioned that it's free, but still I need to have units for SMS. Why do I need to have some units for SMS on my phone if it's for free?
So to create the account, you need to SMS our server. So for example, in Australia, if I was going to SMS you as a provider, it's going to cost me 4.5 cents or 4.5 cents per SMS. Now, if we have 1 million downloads, that's $45,000 that it would cost to register all of those users. Rather than us bear the cost of that, we amortize that because everyone in Australia can essentially bear the cost of one SMS to the server. But more importantly, in Australia, in some countries, SMSs are unlimited and they're free. So in some countries where that economic opportunity is not available, so the SMS cost is quite small to SMS our server to create your account. And that's why you need to have credits to be able to complete the loop in the account creation process.
Yeah. So once I have created this now, and I'm going through the process. So I go to Leelou.com, meetleelou.com. I download it. It's on my phone. How do I find the guardians and I add them to my phone? So walk us through the process of how myself as Caroline, can download Leelou on my phone.
So once you've downloaded the app from the App Store, you need to create a profile or sign up to create an account. Part of that account creation process requires you to SMS our server. Once our server receives your SMS, it confirms the account, and then you can put your name and your date of birth and your gender in and what have you, and then you essentially have an account on our platform. But before you can use it and send out an SMS, you need to invite some friends. So say, for example, you were coming to Australia, and of course, you may not have any friends here in Australia, but if you were in trouble, that your family and friends back in South Africa or wherever you might be couldn't reach out to you. So you might say, you're coming to Australia and you're coming to see me, and you'll say, Jerry, do you mind if I make you a guardian on Leelou in case something goes wrong? I say, sure. So you remove one of your guardians, up to 5, and then you invite me to be your guardian. So if anything does happen, I will be one of the closest and first responders. Now, if I already have an account on Leelou, it doesn't cost you anything to add me because you're looking for my number, it sees me, and then it just sends me a notification like a normal message that says, Caroline would like to invite you to be her guardian, and then I just accept. And that's how it works. It's very simple. You can scrutinize who your guardians are, and you can chop and change depending on where you are, especially if you travel around the world.
That's wonderful, because then I'm thinking if I'm coming to Australia, I would have you as my guardian. I would have a couple of other friends that you and I know as my guardians. And then if I travel and I go to the UK, I can change my guardians depending on which country I am and if Leelou is there. Another point that I want you to make it very clear to our audience is with Leelou, the guardian needs to also be on Leelou, right?
Correct.
So then I'll just make sure that the people I'm inviting, they've also subscribed to Leelou or downloaded Leelou on their phones, and therefore we creating a community or a safety kind of net to protect people and ensure that people are safe wherever they go. Walk me through the process of how do I notify my guardians if I sense danger. For example, if I'm walking on the streets and I notice, it's dark and I notice that I could be in danger, how do I go about alerting my guardians?
Okay, so if you are in trouble, you essentially open up the app. We encourage everybody to move the app to the first home screen on their phone. You just open it and press the SOS button. Now, sometimes you might think, I'm not going to be in trouble, so I'm not going to worry about the opening up Leelou. But if you know you're going to be somewhere where you could potentially be at risk of a situation, maybe getting off a train or walking home late after work or after a concert or something like that, you can open the app and there is a feature in there called AYA. And AYA was a vigilance feature that we designed back in January when a girl in Melbourne who was an international student, she was scared to walk home or back to her dormitory late at night. So she would FaceTime her sister back in Palestine. But unfortunately, somebody attacked her. And her sister heard the attack, but nobody knew where she was. So we built this feature that if you're feeling vulnerable in that situation, rather than trying to FaceTime somebody, you can press and hold AYA mode. And if you drop the phone or let go of the phone, it activates the SOS for you. So rather than be reactive to a potentially dangerous situation or a vulnerable situation, you're already prepared for something that may or may not happen. It's not being over cautious. It's just being prepared for what may happen.
Absolutely. And that is what we want. We want help to come right before the person is in danger or being attacked or something was happening to them. So this is both a preventative, an app that's helping you to prevent yourself getting in danger. So I would think of situations where children are going to school during winter season, early in the morning, like here in South Africa, it's winter season right now, it's dark, and the children are walking and they can all have the app. So when they're getting onto the school bus and getting off, the parents can see, that the children went safe and all that. One thing I wanted to confirm with you is, what happens if I have Leelou and I'm in a situation where I cannot speak, I cannot move much because my perpetrator is very close and probably doesn't want me to move? Is there a way that you can help, or Leelou can help people to alert the guardians?
At the moment, other than pressing the SOS button or releasing the AYA mode, there are no direct accesses to the platform because of hardware limitations. So, for example, in Australia, if you press the power button 5 times, it allows you to call emergency service or police. But we can't access that platform. So you could have the phone in your pocket and tap the power button 5 times and then swipe the screen. It would call emergency services. We've built that platform, but the Apple and Android won't allow us access to that screen because it's allowing deep access to the platform. There will be voice activation, but then again, if you're unable to talk, then of course that won't work. And there will be other biometrics that will activate, but just not yet, because what we want to do is make sure the platform is global before we start releasing other products and features that will make it easier for people to reach out. But essentially, the moment someone presses the SOS button or lets go of AYA mode in a panic situation, it instantly records the audio and your GPS location and your battery level and sends it to all of your guardians in under 15 seconds. So the key is
this could be something like, if I sense I am in danger, I press it and I say something like, I am in Pretoria, it is dark, I can see 3 people running towards me, I don't know what's happening, guys, I'm in danger. And that gets recorded and sent to my guardians.
Correct. It comes up on a dashboard. They can see you on the map. They can hear everything you just said. They can see your battery level. And then a group chat is also loaded, so all of your guardians and yourself can centralize support efforts rather than flicking over to Messenger or Line or WhatsApp or whatever it is. You stay within the platform and communicate. I'm the closest to Caroline. I'll go there, and then I can update the dashboard. I'm on my way, so you can see that I've been notified and I'm on my way. And it lets you know that someone is on the way. And if you're able to communicate what's happening, you do that just by talking. And like you said, we had a person here in Australia late last year who was bushwalking, and they were lost. So they called up emergency services, the police, and they were trying to tell them where they were, but their battery went dead. So if the battery was flat, it would be like, hi, I'm lost. I've got 1% battery level. You'll be able to see it on the dashboard. Please come to where I am now. I'm going to be not moving from here. I'm staying right here. Please come and help me. So the person tried to call emergency services, but they couldn't find him for many, many hours. In the case of Leelou, they would have known exactly where he was and gone straight to him, and saved hundreds of thousands and potentially millions of the recovery efforts, and saved a lot of stress in the community. Early last year, we had a 63-year-old grandmother who had a car accident and flipped her car upside down. She called the police, but she couldn't identify where she was. It took them 12 hours to find her because she couldn't articulate where she was. So it's not just necessarily when you're in danger. You may not be able to explain where you are. You might be in a different country, in Australia, for example, or I might come to South Africa. I'm in trouble. I don't know where I am. So what Leelou does, it gives people on the map and that long location to be able to get to you a whole lot faster, so you can go about making yourself safe.
Wow, that is quite an innovation that we need, not just, in South Africa, but around the world. And it's not just for situations of violence. I would imagine people who do trail running, for example. I would imagine mountain climbers would find this very useful. I would imagine old people who are living by themselves would need this in their homes in case they fall or something goes wrong and they need help immediately. So Leelou is not just a personal app for prevention of in situations of danger in terms of sexual violence or any other violence, but it's really a personal app that every man, woman, boy and girl needs. That's my take on it. And I believe that with all the efforts that you are putting with your team, and I know you're coming to South Africa very soon, that this will be a reality for us. I would just like you to look into the camera and let people know what you'll be doing in South Africa in the next 1 or 2 months.
I'm planning to come to South Africa to launch it there, and that will depend on the relationships that I can establish to make it feasible and possible to not only launch it, but to maintain it. So, I'm looking forward to hearing from anybody. Reach out to us on social media or connect through Caroline to help partner with us. Because, people have said to me, Jerry, if Leelou can save one life, it was worth it. But I think if I only saved one with this platform, I'd be disappointed, because I know so many more can be prevented. The numbers are staggering how many lives are lost, and, women and children are our future, and I think we should be investing a lot more into, sustaining their lives and making them, feel more appreciated. And I think domestic violence and gender-based violence it's getting out of control. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jerry, for joining us today all the way from Melbourne, Australia. We appreciate what you have done. Out of your situation of loss and depression and attempted suicide has come out something amazing. Leelou, a personal safety app. We appreciate it, and we cannot wait to get our South Africa version of Leelou. We're going to work together with you to make this a reality in South Africa with all the partners that we have. And with Behenet, I believe this message is going to go out to the right people who are required to come to the party and make this a reality. Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you, Caroline. I really appreciate all the amazing work you do in this space as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching us today. And if you would like to know more about Leelou and how you can access Leelou, whether you're watching us from Australia, Canada, the United States of America, or UK, or even here in South Africa, where we intend to launch Leelou soon, you can go to our website on Behenet, or the NGO Whisperer for more details. Thank you so much, everyone. It's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives.